Because if you die outside your own game, you don't regenerate. Ever. Game over.
Welcome back to another episode of Katie Talks About Indie Pilots for some reason. I don't know why I've done 4 of these. On today's episode, we have GameOVerse, the newest show from the Pomni people. GameOVerse.
Game over.
So how is it? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it arousing? Alright, let's see his latest piece of glitch production shit you kids are jizzing over.
I gotta do it, man.
Alright, I'll be real. I'm kind of conflicted on my feelings of GameOVerse. I don't really know what the general fan reception to it is yet. But although I don't think it's like horrible or anything, I do think it's probably my least favorite glitch pilot. I think it's like the weakest glitch pilot so far. Let's start off with the things that I liked.
I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Oral.
This is easily my favorite art style glitch show has ever had. I'm really happy that they've adopted 2D recently because this show looks amazing. It has a very like almost like old YouTube or even like Newgrounds-ish art style feel with the thick outlines and the more like angular shapes and sharp angles and everything. I really like the colors, everything pops really well. It's really nice to look at. The shading and the lighting is great. And it just looks fantastic. The fight scenes are especially animated really well, which is good. It's what you want if you have a more action-oriented show like this one. I'm kind of sad though the art style doesn't change every time they enter a new video game or whatever. But I mean, yeah, like in the teaser. But I mean, hey, it's whatever, I guess. I think my biggest complaint with it though is that the episode feels a little bloated, while also simultaneously kind of underdeveloped, if that makes any sense. Like, I feel like it kind of fails to do its job as a pilot, as a series introduction, because we don't really get much in terms of like context. Like, we don't know why these worlds blow up if the hero beats the game, why our main characters are doing what they're doing, mainly the villains. They seem to be setting up something at the beginning with a Kitzel dream thing, but then they just don't. They move on from it. Apparently, our main characters like work for someone. But we never really learn who, unless it's supposed to be this like Sephiroth looking ass motherfucker. I'm not saying give away everything, every plot point of the entire show in the first episode. I'm just saying, a little background is needed for me to understand what the hell is going on and I know what's at stake for the main cast and why they're doing any of this. The function of a pilot, more traditionally speaking, is to serve as a proof of concept to show viewers what an average episode of your show is going to look like, with most shows' pilots either being remade in the first episode once the show is fully greenlit, or just having elements of them used for later episodes. And I think looking at it from that lens, it's fine. But with glitch shows, their pilots become episode 1 once the show is greenlit, and a first episode, for a story-driven show at least, should be a more general introduction that begins where the story starts, establishes the characters, their personalities, their motivations, and what the world they live in is like, and what their main series-long arcs or conflicts are going to be. And I feel like this, while working fine enough, still leaves out too many important details, and could leave a viewer coming out more confused than anything else. I do understand how this can happen, though, for someone who's a first-time writer of a series on this scale, like I assume the creator Rubber Ross is. I'll be real, this was more or less my introduction to him. I don't know who the hell this guy is. What I do know is that this is an idea he's been trying to bring to life for over a decade, and that's a long time to get to know your own world and characters. It can be easy to forget sometimes, though, that the audience doesn't also know everything that you know. So something that might seem more obvious or simple to understand to you because you made it may not be to your viewers, and some more explanation might be needed in that case. This is still an impressive first outing I think Rubber Ross should be proud of, but I do think there also are some growing pains and things to work on and improve upon. Also, in case anyone's wondering, I did take a brief glance at those old GameOVerse episodes from 12 years ago, but as far as I know, there's no misinformation in them, so as far as I'm concerned, it's not worth my time.
With a name like misinformation.
Also, let's address the ram in the room here. Jay Schlatt is the voice of fucking Canuto, whatever the fuck his name was. And look, he doesn't do a bad job, but also I'm sorry, but whenever he speaks, all I can hear is Schlatt, and it sounds like he recorded all his lines at just like his desk, like the same setup he used to record like his fucking Minecraft, which the hell he does. Like I'm sorry. Like next time, get him a recording booth, please. To me, it's kind of like how people viewed Markiplier in the Iron Lung movie. Like, I'm sorry, but I just could never make the mental disassociation from Jay Schlatt every time he opened his mouth. Like, that's all I could imagine in my head every time he started talking. Still, I'm not saying it's a bad job, and I'm glad he has this role. I think it's very cool that there exists a show where the two main leads are Blaze the Cat and Minecraft Dream SMP guy. I guess while we're on the topic of voice actors, I like Aaron Hansen as Flappers the dolphin, and the dinosaur, the Barney guy. I thought his voice would get really annoying, but thankfully it didn't. And also Elsie Lovelock is as misinformation. She was good. She was also I don't know his name, but I like the guy who sounds like JT Music Papyrus. He did a good job too. Their day one merch is just like every other show they make. I'm not gonna spend too much time on it, but I do think they're kind of putting all their eggs in one basket when they release this much shit for a series that hasn't even had a real chance to prove itself yet. Like day one blind boxes, really. The worst part is there's no misinformation plus your figure. What a sick joke. Hey Jimmy, give me a GameOVerse merch drop with nothing. Nothing? You show me a misinformation plus, and I'll show you a credit card, okay? Can't believe they're locking the one piece of misinformation merch behind the blind boxes. This is fucked up. This is gatekeeping. This is Game-O-Gate. You know, I think the thing that this pilot reminded me of most, and other people pointed this out, but I think the thing it reminds me of most is like Pibby. All right, anything else? I think there's a Tails Gets Trolled reference in here. Last thing I want to say, though, isn't really about the pilot itself, but more so Glitch as a studio. They've been producing a lot of pilots in the last year or two, which isn't a bad thing in and of itself, obviously, but part of me worries if it might be too much. Like, I don't know how many people work at Glitch, right? It's probably a lot, but also I doubt that it's like Disney numbers, you know? So I'm worried about their team stretching themselves too thin with so many shows running concurrently and the quality suffering as a result. It's clear to me that the reason for this, though, is because Glitch is trying to find their next flagship show, and now that TADC is coming to a close, they want to find the next big thing, like Digital Circus is now and Murder Drones was before it. And I mean, so far, like, yeah, all their pilots have done alright, but nothing has pulled in TADC numbers. And honestly, I doubt anything else ever really will. Like, you can't catch lightning in a bottle twice, guys. I just kind of hope that they stick with the shows that they have now instead of taking on anything more. I mean, you've already got this, the furry cat show, sort of like honorarily, and then frickin' Frat over here. That's enough, I think. So yeah, overall, I'd say I see potential in GameOVerse. It wasn't bad. I just think there are definitely some elements that need to be tweaked and refined as the show goes on, which it probably will. Honestly, I hope it continues for the sole reason of them eventually making a misinformation plush. I won't be satisfied till it exists, Luke, you Australian fuck.
My life is like a video game, trying hard to beat the stage, all while I am still collecting coins.
They always said that Charlie Kirk was a Nazi.